Here are today's top stories. Communist leader Jose Maria Sison sets terms for his return to the country for the resumption of peace talks, but Malacanang says he is not in the position to do so. The enactment of the Bangsamoro Basic Law is another step closer to reality as it gets a backing from more than 300 barangay leaders in Mindanao. The Department of Trade and Industry asks for 300 million pesos to help businesses affected by the closure of Boracay. And a bigger harvest from the Agriculture Department awaits farmers who will sell their palay to the National Food Authority. Good day, I'm Pia Rosas Marato. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. While the resumption of peace talks between the government and communist rebels is in the works, Malacanang said Communist Party of the Philippines founding chairman Jose Maria Sison's terms before returning to the country to renew talks is a different story. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque earlier said President Rodrigo Duterte challenged Sison to come home and gave a 60-day time frame for negotiations. In response, Sison said he will return when a significant advance in the peace negotiations has been achieved within the framework of the Hague Joint Declaration. The communist leader also wanted an assurance that his comrades and lawyers are satisfied with legal and security precautions. Roque explained that Sison is only welcome to come home with the president's assurance of his security and the fact that he will not be arrested. He, however, said Sison's new condition will have to be discussed by the government. Roque clarified that the 60-day window will commence as soon as both sides have clearly agreed to resume peace talks. The Department of Justice has started its investigation on the tax evasion and cyber libel charges filed against online news site Rappler. Rappler's top officers, however, failed to show up. More in this story.
Executives of Rappler Holdings Corporation did not appear before the Department of Justice for the preliminary investigation of the separate complaints filed by the Bureau of Internal Revenue and the National Bureau of Investigation. RHC President Maria Ressa and Treasurer James Bitanga were told to explain their side on the tax evasion complaint filed by the BIR for allegedly failing to pay 133 million pesos in taxes for the year 2015. The agency explained that the annual ITR and VAT returns for 2015 do not reflect any income tax and VAT from its sale of Philippine depository receipts. Lawyers of Ressa and Bitanga sought an extension to submit their affidavit, saying they did not receive the BIR's complaint. The respondents have been ordered to face the preliminary investigation on May 7. Ressa and 8 others are also set to respond this Wednesday in connection with the cyber complaint filed by businessman Wilfredo King. King filed the complaint following a Rappler article published in May of 2012. Rappler reported that the late former Chief Justice Renato Corona, who was then facing an impeachment trial, had been using a black SUV whose plate number was allegedly issued to Kang. The news website also reported about Kang's alleged involvement in human trafficking and smuggling. The NBI is also conducting a probe into the possible criminal liabilities of the executives of Rappler. Last January, the Securities and Exchange Commission revoked the Certificate of Incorporation of Rappler Incorporated and RHC, allegedly for violating the Constitution and foreign equity restrictions in mass media. Rappler filed a petition before the Court of Appeals seeking to stop the implementation of the decision made by SEC. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Maricord Zapata.
More than 300 barangay leaders from Mindanao expressed their strong support for the passage of the Bangsamoro Basic Law. Liga ng mga Barangay ng Mindanao Vice President Gerard Ramiro said, the group trusts the wisdom and significance behind the BBL and the development of Muslim Mindanao led by President Rodrigo Duterte. Ramiro thanked the Office of the Presidential Advisor in the peace process for involving the barangay leaders in the country's peace work. He said awareness and knowledge of history are the bedrock of commitment and common understanding to resolve the long conflict and aim for freedom in Muslim Mindanao. To formalize its commitment, the league released a resolution declaring full support for the BBL. The village leaders have attended a forum on the BBL organized by the Liga ng mga Barangay ng Mindanao and OPAP. Also present in the event were the commissioners of the Bangsamoro Transition Commission. The forum was aimed at educating members of the Barangay Association on the salient points of the BBL. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency reminded the public to be watchful of signs indicating the presence of a clandestine Shabu laboratory in their neighborhood. PDEA made the statement following the dismantling of a series of laboratories used in manufacturing illegal drugs. Director General Aaron Aquino said drug personalities have transferred their drug manufacturing activities from the usual mountains and far-flung communities to residential areas. Authorities earlier dismantled Shabu and ecstasy laboratories in Barangay Santo Niño, Ibaan, Batangas, and in a 3-story residence in Barangay Tinajeros, Malabon City. Among the signs of a drug laboratory in the community is the presence of unnaturally high security, a sudden surge of people in a formerly abandoned place, and the presence of chemicals. Aquino also said the agency is appealing to the public to report any suspicious movement of individuals and facilities in their neighborhood. The informants are rewarded to encourage the public to report illegal drug activities in their community. Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara assures fair treatment for Australian nun Patricia Fox, who allegedly violated immigration laws which bars foreigners from partisan political activities. Fox was arrested last April 16 by the Bureau of Immigration but was ordered released on April 17 after confirming that she holds a valid missionary visa and is a properly documented alien. Fox, a known human rights advocate, was previously arrested in 2013 for reportedly joining protests in Hacienda Luisita. Under the law, the BI may order the deportation of Fox if proven after investigation that she violated the immigration law. Guevara also reiterates that the government has a right to restrict the participation of aliens in domestic political activities and internal affairs of the country. Still to come, the Department of Trade and Industry comes to the rescue of businesses to be affected by the impending closure of Boracay. We will tell you how later. A hybrid energy project is set to bring light and hope to a village in Palawan. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Waranto petition.
Boracay environmental violation.
Tax reform for acceleration and inclusion of trade.
Dapat silang maparusahan dahil isa yan sa nakakagulo sa ating lipunan. Kaya lang, meron ba tayong batas kung paano sila mapaparusahan o kaya ang sandigan kung anong parusa ibibigay sa kanila?
Yes, kailangan po silang maparusahan sa pagbibigay nila ng mga maling impormasyon, ng mga walang katuturan balita. Dahil ang mga tao ay kailangan nila ng totoong impormasyon at hindi yung fake news.
Depende sa kung anong news or anong fake news na ginawa or anong inilabas ng fake news. So, depende yung kung parurusahan siya.
Para sa akin, yung fake news kasi, nagkakasama yan. Kasi, fake yung inilabas nila sa internet, tsaka mababasa ng maraming tao.
Yes, the government should punish the publisher, editor, writer of fake news. Because not only fake news is deceiving, it is also dangerous. Dangerous in a sense that it will spread false information that can manipulate or brainwash people. It will negatively influence the audience or readers when forming opinion and will result to consequences such as rebellion, abuse of power, and disruption of peace.
Malinaw po dito sa BOAO Forum for Asia 2018 na mahalaga ang collective growth dito po sa ating rehiyon. At magagawa lamang natin ito kung meron po tayong sustainable growth. Number 2, respeto sa isa't isa. At pangatlo, openness at innovation.
I come to the BOA Forum for Asia convinced that the collective prosperity is not just a dream but a reality that we can achieve for our nations, for our peoples, and for our regions. We are slowly making the Filipino dream a reality. We seek to partner with responsible businesses, homegrown and foreign-based, to drive the progress we envision. As sovereign equals, the Philippines and China are partners in the building of the much-needed infrastructure, which are the building blocks and bridges for greater understanding between our two peoples. Let me say it again. The Philippines' destiny is in Asia.
The Department of Trade and Industry is asking the government for 300 million pesos to support businesses affected by the closure of Boracay. More in this report.
Trade and Industry Secretary Ramon Lopez said that the agency will be seeking 300 million from the government's Boracay Rehabilitation Fund to assist small-scale enterprises that will be affected by the island's planned 6-month closure. He added that the DTI's initiatives for stakeholders in Boracay include assisting them to locate their businesses into other areas. He said the DTI is also looking into partnering with mall operators to host products from Boracay like souvenirs. The DTI chief said the allocation will come from the 2 billion peso calamity fund that will be diverted for the rehabilitation of Boracay. Apart from the budget allocation from the Boracay Rehabilitation Fund, DTI will also offer its microfinance program, Pondo para sa Pagbabago at Pag-asenso, or P3, to businesses in the island. Lopez added that the agency can offer zero interest rate loans under the P3 program. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
An online stock and mutual fund platform is encouraging more Filipinos to invest their hard-earned money in stocks and contribute to the growth of the country's capital markets. Dino Bate, President and Chief Executive Officer of Call Financial Group, attributed the weakening stock market to global trends where liquidity used to lift markets were slowly withdrawn. He said investors will have a chance to buy stocks at a much lower level and make high returns. Bate noted his group is continuously educating Filipino retail investors about pouring in their money into the stock market. Bate said he expects that Filipino retail investors will have equal participation with foreign investors in the stock market in 3 to 5 years. By the end of 2017, Call had 249,000 accounts, indicating a 21% growth from 205,000 the previous year. Call was able to achieve this growth due to the steady stream of referrals from existing clients as well as through the establishment of new investor centers in Davao, Cebu, and Ilocos.
President Rodrigo R. Duterte may sign the executive order placing Boracay under a state of calamity anytime now. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said the people have been told and they now know that the closure of the island is imminent. Roque, however, said that the calamity fund amounting to some 2 billion pesos intended for the workers who will be most affected by the closure is already in place. DILG Assistant Secretary Epimaco Densing said that despite the 6-month closure, Boracay may be reopened by August if the local government and the stakeholders could meet certain standards concerning water discharge, solid waste management, cleaning of drainages, 100% easement compliance, wetlands recovery, and road widening.
The local government of Surigao del Sur orders the stoppage of the operations of all existing sand and gravel permits in the province. Governor Vicente Pimentel Jr. cited numerous violations by companies including over-extraction from quarries and non-remittance of corresponding payments for materials. The Provincial Environment and Natural Resources Office reports a total of 25 companies would be affected by the order. Pimentel meanwhile addressed the issue of the demand for sand and gravel in relation to the province's own Build, Build, Build program. He said those affected should deal directly with the provincial government. Some 2,000 candidates for the barangay and SK elections in San Carlos City, Pangasinan have agreed to undergo a drug test initiated by the COMELEC and the Pangasinan Police Provincial Office. Police Superintendent Ferdinand De Asis, Chief of San Carlos, said that all those who filed their certificates of candidacy have signed a waiver adhering to the voluntary drug test. He advised them to avail of the services of testing centers accredited by the Department of Health before the start of campaign period on May 4. He said election candidates signed the Peace Covenant on April 21 to avoid trouble, violence, and corruption against voters. The candidates have agreed to uphold a peaceful, honest, orderly, and drug-free elections. The Sabang Renewable Energy Corporation breaks ground in Palawan for its first hybrid power plant with a microgrid in Puerto Princesa, Palawan. The hybrid power plant will consist of a 1.4 megawatt peak solar photovoltaics plant with a 2.3 megawatt battery storage system and 1.2 megawatt diesel generators to power its 14 circuit kilometer distribution facility. The system provides an average of 50% of clean energy to the grid. The hybrid plant will electrify more than 600 households and establishments in Barangay Cabuyugan. SREC is a renewable energy developer registered with the Department of Energy. Due to the project's renewable energy component, the government may expect to save on subsidies for rural electrification up to 527 million pesos over 20 years. The Sabang project will serve as a model for other clean energy projects in Palawan to protect the island's paradise's ecosystem and promote sustainable development. Up next, in a move to secure the country's rice supply, the Department of Agriculture is offering incentives to farmers selling their palay to the National Food Authority. Looking for a new peak to climb, this natural wonder in Bataan might be perfect for your next adventure. Back after a quick break, this is the PNA Newsroom.
Waranto petition.
Boracay environmental violation.
Tax reform for acceleration and inclusion of trade.
Welcome home po sa inyong lahat. And, alam niyo po sa Jeremiah 29:11 at siguro kahit anong religion naman may ganitong sinasabi, no? Sabi, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future.
The Department of Agriculture promises incentives to farmers' associations who would sell palay to the National Food Authority. Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol said the incentives will come in the form of post-harvest facilities such as tractors, harvesters, or a rice processing center. The incentives will depend on the volume of palay that farmers will deliver and sell to the NFA under a point system scheme. Piñol said farmers will also get priority in availing no collateral and low-interest financial assistance. President Duterte has ordered the intensification of palay procurement from local farmers to increase the government's buffer stocks. Oil companies have increased fuel pump prices Tuesday morning. Eastern Petroleum, Phoenix Petroleum, PTT, Shell, and Unioil implemented a 40 centavo per liter increase for gasoline and 65 centavo per liter rise for diesel. Sea Oil and Petron carried the same price adjustments for diesel and gasoline, along with a 65 centavo per liter price increase for kerosene. Flying V also implemented a 40 centavo per liter increase on gasoline products, a 65 centavo per liter for biodiesel, and 65 centavo per liter price hike for kerosene. Jetty meanwhile announced a 35 per liter price hike for gasoline and 55 centavos for diesel. The oil firm said the price adjustments reflect the movement in the international petroleum market. The British royal family has welcomed a new member as Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge and wife to Prince William of England, gave birth to their third child. Kate Middleton delivered the baby boy at St. Mary's Hospital Monday night, Manila time, which was announced by the royal family through social media. The royal baby was presented to the media later. The baby boy is fifth in line to the British throne after grandfather Prince George, his father Prince William, and two siblings. Rock climbers and other nature trippers are sure to find a treat in the San Miguel Peak, which has become a summer destination in Bataan. In this feature, we will tell you why this natural wonder is a great addition to your hashtag travel goals. Here's our report.
A rock mountain and a pebbled and rocky beach in Mariveles, Bataan are perfect getaways for summer, as shown by large number of visitors frequenting the area, especially during weekends. San Miguel Peak, noted for its rock formation from foot to its peak in Barangay Sisiman, is a favorite for climbing and rappelling by mountain climbers from Metro Manila and other areas in Luzon. Beginners start rappelling at a height of 130 meters, but old hands rappel from the peak, which is about 700 feet or more than 200 meters high. No charge is collected, but mountain climbers can make use of local guides and instructors for a minimal fee. The view below the rock mountain is breathtaking. Many enjoy the cool waters of the Mariveles Bay, where from a distance can be seen a lighthouse, Corregidor Islands in Cavite, and the Mariveles mountain range. The beach is full of pebbles and some rocks where there are many huts available for rent. There is no entrance fee. Adventurers are sure to have a pleasant experience climbing and exploring the surroundings of San Miguel Peak. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's top stories. Communist leader Jose Maria Sison sets terms for his return to the country for the resumption of peace talks, but Malacanang says he is not in the position to do so. The enactment of the Bangsamoro Basic Law is another step closer to reality as it gets a backing for more than 300 barangay leaders in Mindanao. The Department of Trade and Industry asks for 300 million pesos to help businesses affected by the closure of Boracay. And a bigger harvest from the Agriculture Department awaits farmers who will sell their palay to the National Food Authority. Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Good day.